Hello. This is a 1996 Eagle Vision ESI. Now it actually belongs to a family member of a friend of mine. My friend brought it over to my place so I could help him replace the front CV axles. That's nothing too difficult, it's just a 2-hour job, right? Right? That was 7 months ago. It needs new CV axles. Spent all day working on it yesterday, and wasn't that bad. On the other side, this side, it won't come out. And we got a slide hammer from AutoZone. I swear I used that for like 2 hours. Nothing happened. So I put the old axle back in, put vice grips around it so it wouldn't come out. And then I used the axle nut to thread in another axle to it. And I'm basically going to use this and yank on it a lot and hope that that does it. Believe it or not, that did not do it. Put a hat on because it's windy out. While the car was sitting out there, I got so bad to the point where I got so desperate that I chained a garden tractor to the axle and tried to yank on it. All that did was pull the car off the jack stands. So eventually I decided to put it in the garage in preparation for this being a long-term project. If you don't already know, this is my friend's family member's car. My friend brought it over and we were working on this back in November, and it was supposed to be a 2-hour job. We were just doing CV axles. Well, the one on this side refuses to come out. Anyways, that's the status of it right now. It's completely cut apart. I've tried every method. I tried posting online in different forums, and it was a mix between people not reading my post and telling me to do something I already tried, or people being useless and just saying to try harder. I chained a tractor to that and yanked on it. That didn't work. So if that's not going to work, I figured nothing would, so I just started cutting it out. Might try one more trick, but if that doesn't work, I'm just going to keep cutting. I was thinking of turning this into its own video, but I think I've decided to not do that. Well, that's ironic. So anyways, that's exactly what I did. I decided to cut it out piece by piece. I've had this in a couple different videos where I just mentioned it briefly, but long story short, my friend brought it here. We were going to work on it. It was going to be a 2-hour job. But the thing is, it's been sitting in this garage for like 6 months. That's because the CV axle cup on this side won't come out. And if you haven't noticed, this is what the cup's supposed to look like. And that's what it looks like over here. I'm gonna cut it out, and I've made progress. So basically, what my plan was, I cut all around it. That's why there's only that little sliver. So I can kind of make a cut on the top, and then make a cut on the bottom, and hopefully these two pieces should just break off in halves. And I was gonna continue doing that, but then I realized something. See this right here? That is the snap ring that holds it in. I have the snap ring exposed, and I can even move it around with this pick. So I'm hoping I can expose enough of it, grind a lot of it away, and then expose more, grind it away, expose more, and do that over and over again until I grind the entire snap ring. Wouldn't you know, it turned out that circlip being exposed was the key to getting the thing out. All right, well, it's been a couple days. I got this grinder down pretty good. I eventually got to the point where most of the C-clip was actually exposed. And for shits and gigs, I just grabbed the pliers and got them on the clip. I didn't think it would come out, but it did. And now, that only took 6 months. So the way I had to grind this, I kind of did have to grind it to the end of the shaft a little bit, but I don't think a little damage is going to hurt it because all these splines they're fine. But yeah, that's pretty cool. It was at this point that I decided to record this process full time to capture all of my pain and agony. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we finally reached the finale. It's been so long that everywhere I walk in here, I get a cobweb in the face. But I got a couple packages. All right, so I got the new retaining clip. You're actually supposed to replace these anyways, but I turned the old one into dust, so. And then I got this O-ring. No clue where this goes, but the service manual says you have to replace this, so. This came from carparts.com, and I got this ring from Quick Performance. Which, by the way, if you send stickers when people buy parts from you, easy way to lock in a lifetime customer. Just saying. There's cobwebs. It really has been that long. Anyways, I guess I gotta put it back together. Alright, well, I was doing some research, and I don't think I even need this. Like I said, the service manual said to replace it. I even checked the service manual for the Dodge Intrepid, which is the Dodge version of this car. Because that's all this car is, it is just a rebadge. And they both said to replace that. But I mean, I don't know where it goes. I've read a couple forums where someone's like, hey, there's this O-ring, where do I get this? And everyone's like, I have no clue what you're talking about. That might be the inner seal that goes past that shaft in there. But to replace that seal, you have to take the entire transmission apart. So I'm not going to do that. Kind of sucks because this was like 14 bucks. And I don't really want to replace it because they sent me a sticker. But got the circlip, so I guess I could throw this in there. So first step to the reassembly is getting the circlip back on and hoping it just goes back on. Do want to clean that up a little bit. Oh, wait. Is that what that is? You see this green around here? I think that might be the O-ring seal. I think it's safe to say this is what I need. I guess I'll put the new one on. I'm happy I noticed that. So I got some transmission fluid and I think I'm gonna put a little bit on this seal so it slides over that shaft. Oh. Well, that doesn't fit. Yeah, that's just kind of hanging there. Happy I didn't destroy the old one. Otherwise, I'd have to wait a couple more days. That's kind of annoying. That seal's completely different. That's the only one I could actually find info on. Well, the old one should do its job. Like I said, a lot of people in forums didn't even know it was there. Anyways, let's put this clip on. That slid on pretty easy. Almost insulting in a way with how it took months to get the old one out. Alright, well I got the new shaft right here. Can't get it to go past that snap ring. I don't get it because the other side it just kind of slid on there. Other side was no issue at all. Guess it's just keeping tradition for this side though. Kind of seems like this clip moves more than I feel like it should. I don't know if that's normal or not. Because thing is, this side wasn't an issue at all. We got this fully put back together on day one. This side had absolutely no issues. Thing is, we didn't replace that circlip because we didn't know we needed to. The reason this is all apart again is because I was going to take this new axle out to replace the circlip. But I can't get it out, so that old circlip should work just fine if I can't get it out myself. Like I said, it should just slide in. That's what the other side did. All right, I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold this up when I put this in and get the bottom part of that cup to basically hold this clip up and then push the top of it down to get the top over and should be good to go. All right, I gave up on that idea. I don't have enough hands, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to put the clip into there and it should clip in right around there and maybe that would work. What's probably going to happen though is that this is going to get stuck in there and it's not going to come out and it's not going to go on there and it's going to ruin the whole thing. All right, well, I gave up on that idea too. So I spent a little bit of time, watched a couple videos, did some research. Turns out getting that clip to line up is always a pain in the ass. I have no clue how the other side went in perfectly fine. We didn't even think about it. It just kind of slid in. So I'm going to try a couple different things, all things I saw mentioned. One thing I saw a bunch of people say was this opening, leave it at the very top, so then it recesses in there. Because if you leave it like at the bottom or something and it hangs off, then the ends here can actually roll over and jam everything up. However, if you leave that at the top, it stays recessed in there and the bottom hangs out, but there's no cut in the bottom, so it can't roll over as easily. Another thing I see, a lot of people say to put grease on it, so I'm going to do that too. All right, I greased it up and my hopes are kind of high now. I did see one video where the guy said grease it up and then position it so that it kind of sits where you want it. And I was like, how does the grease help it defy the laws of gravity? But it actually does. If I put it all the way to the left, it stays there. If I put it all the way up, it stays there. So I'm going to position it so it's kind of in the middle. So hopefully it should just slip over it. You know, I have the strong urge to just wipe my hand on a freshly painted wall. Service manual said specifically, do not grease it. If I don't grease it, then if this car somehow lasts another 30 years and someone has to do CV axles again, it's going to suck. So I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen. All right. Good luck, buddy. I believe in you. I think I lied. I don't believe in this thing at all. What the hell? Really don't get it. It shouldn't be this hard. This is way more difficult than it needs to be. This should have went in like 5 minutes. All right, well, I decided that it wasn't going on because it was too stretched out, so I was going to take it off to kind of bend it a little, and in the process, I kind of bent the hell out of it trying to get it out. I bent it back as best as I could, but it's kind of egg-shaped, but I mean, I don't know, it might work. I don't know, it is still pretty loose. Might not be as bad though, I might be able to try that. Problem is, I can't have it closed too tight, otherwise I won't be able to get it on there in the first place. I had it tight so that you can't just slip over it, but you gotta bend it to get it on there. And of course I do that, and then it's bent out too much where that doesn't want to go on there. I think I'll try to bend it in a little while it's on here, maybe get pliers on it or something, but I don't know. Like, there's no way in hell that axle's gonna want to go on there easily. The funny thing is that when I have it centered on there with the grease, it doesn't really stick out that much. In fact, actually, I don't really know if it's sticking out at all, but still, this thing doesn't want to go on it. I don't know, I'll keep trying. Wish me luck. Another thing I've realized, and this is probably the main thing that's giving me issues, you can't actually put it in completely straight because this stupid sway bar is in the way. So I have to go under and then bend the joint here to get this to go on straight. But because I'm bending this, I can't use force with any of this. Can't hammer it because it's at an angle. Day 2 of trying to put it in, and I got it in. No, I'm just kidding. I took the ring out. I took this out so I could actually make sure it goes in there in the first place, and it did. So clearly it's because it can't get past the snap ring. Figures. However, it did seem like it was getting bound up even without the ring. It was kind of tricky to get it in. This is at least nice to look at. It makes me feel like I did something. I'm going to try to bend this into a different shape again, because I think it is kind of out of round now. It's kind of still egg shaped, so I'm going to try to get it more round, and hopefully it will actually want to go in easier. You could really see the angle though. That goes in straight, but everything else angles down because of the sway bar. I'm sure if I took like the sway bar out, maybe even the shock tower, it would be a lot easier, but at the same time, I'd have to take the sway bar and shock tower out. So would it really be that easy? I don't know. Definitely tempted though. All right, I bent it into a new shape. It doesn't look circular, but I measured this way, and it's the exact same. It's like 1 inch and 2/16, which is like 1 inch and 1/8. It still looks oval shaped, but according to the tape measure, it's circular. That's the issue right there. You need to bend it to get it on there, but then you do that and it's all bent out now and it doesn't sit as flush. Let's see if I can get these lock-in pliers on there. Because maybe if I keep it clamped down enough, it might actually hold that shape. I'm sure I could leave it like this for like a week, and as soon as I unclamp it, it's just gonna bend back. I'm sure heat would help, but then I'm gonna burn all that grease away and that's not gonna smell too good. I will say though, I don't think I'll ever quit complaining about how stupid of a design everything about this is. I mean, the retaining ring's right there. It's on the edge. If it was like back here, at least you'd have all this area to like center that on there. But instead, you only get this tiny sliver, that's like nothing. You get this tiny sliver to center it, and then you have to force it past that circlip. Because one issue I keep finding myself having is it just falls off as I'm trying to get it on there. The whole thing falls off. I don't know if I ever pointed this out, but like the engine, it's right here. I was looking, it probably needs valve cover gaskets. That could probably be like a 20-30 minute job. Everything you need to work on is right in front of you. The engine bay seems to be engineered and designed really well, but the axles, put the point you need to pry right above the frame rail so you can't get to underneath it. Put the sway bar directly in line with it. Everything about this, just why? You know, I just thought of a funny video I saw the other day. This guy clamped locking pliers right there and then used an air hammer. And all the comments were saying how stupid it was and blah, blah, blah. I just thought that was pretty funny. Anyways, unrelated from what I just said, I'm going to walk in here to cool off. Whoa, what's this stuff doing in here? What? Well, I tried asking nicely. I do want to demonstrate my issue though. I have this on the shaft as far as it will possibly go before hitting the ring. And then just look at how much it still moves. This is why I was saying if that circlip was farther back, it would have more room to actually center the thing before you start hammering it on there. All right, well, obviously that didn't work at all. I even crafted this little wooden support block with my professional grade wood lathe and CNC router. But it doesn't matter because that thing doesn't want to go on there anyways. I did check. I had it lined up perfectly. So I put the nut on the end of this and I started hammering it. But it just damaged the threads. It's like, just go in there.
You got the hammer on. There it is. Snapped in place.
It's just that easy, huh? You just give it a couple taps. Yeah, that doesn't. Ah! All right, well, I've gotten to the point where I'm running out of ideas. So last night I took to the internet and I posted on probably 12 different forums and I compiled a list of all the advice I got. Zip tie tricks. So this is where you put a zip tie right over the clip. I already tried that, but I didn't use a big zip tie, so I might try to use a bigger one. Angle grinder. You mean my wood planer? Hit it with your purse. Ram into it with a 4x4 truck. No. Don't use the circlip. Now, I thought this was a joke at first, but a couple people said it, and I thought about it, and I probably could get away with it. It's not going anywhere. The hub's holding it in. As long as the ball joint doesn't go out. The ball joint goes out, the whole wheel's gone, but as long as the ball joint holds it in, it should be fine. But the thing is, it's not my car, so I don't really want to do that, but I will consider it. Check the stub shaft splines for damage. Now, a lot of people said that, and I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? They could be damaged. But then I remembered I literally put the axle in without the clip, and it went in just fine. Remove the strut and the sway bar. Now, I didn't want to do this because I thought it would be too much work, but honestly, it probably won't be. Even if I just get the strut out of the way, at least I can put the axle in straight. Put a nut on the end of the axle and hammer it. Tried it, didn't work. However, I did not have the nut on all the way, which is why the threads got damaged. But they must have been damaged anyways because the nut didn't want to go on. Don't hammer it, you might damage it. Well, that's contradicting. Alright, so my problem is I can't get the nut to actually go on there. It goes and then it stops right there. Now, what confuses me is the fact that it was doing this before I even started hammering on it. But I could tell this thread right there is kind of collapsed in. Now, I tried cutting it with the Dremel. That didn't work at all. In fact, it seems like it kind of collapsed the thread in more, if anything. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a dumb decision and hope this isn't cross-threaded. Gotta be honest, I don't think that did anything. I think instead of retapping the axle, it's retapping the nut. Yeah, no, it's kind of working. Damage is actually kind of going away. I almost wonder if this was damaged previously because the damage is like on the top. It's not like in line or anything. I don't think I even did that because like I said, the nut wouldn't go on there in the first place. Before I started hammering anything, I tried to put the nut on it and it wouldn't go on. Like the nut that came with it, this is the old nut. It was the nut that came with it wouldn't even go on either. Honestly, it's almost poetic in a way, you know, like absolutely nothing with this project is going the way it should. And not even the nut that came with the axle will go on the axle. Every little aspect of this project is just bleh. Alright, I put in a vise. This wheel should fit within the threads. But then I realized something. That's not gonna work. I got a saw. It didn't occur to me that this whole thing can move. Yeah. 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 That's somehow worse. Flipped it around and there's some more damage on this other side.
Attention, your iPhone battery is at 69%.
Shut up! I got it cleaned up pretty good, but there's a little section where the threads kind of come to the end. And it looks like it's damaged a little there. So this is going to be tricky, but that looks like that's the only damage. I got it on. Doesn't want to go on all the way though. I have to clean up those threads a bit. Oh, dude. Kind of slows down at a certain point, but it threads on like past it, so. I don't know why I get so pissed off after it gets put on there. Just for hammering purposes, I do want to use this old nut. Does this go on? Uh-oh. Okay, so this nut, the old one I was going to use to hammer, because I tried to use this to retap it, this doesn't want to go on anymore. I could just try to send it. Might be able to repair this because these threads are stronger. Unless I just hammer the new nut. I might just do that. A little more. Yeah, that should be good. All right, I've decided I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to take the strut tower out and the sway bar. Sway bar might be easy. I'm thinking if I just undo the link on the other side, I might be able to just rotate it up and I won't have to actually unbolt it. This might be a little trickier. I'm going to have to take the tie rod out. People say if you don't bolt it from here, you have to realign it, but I don't see why that would be the case if you don't adjust it. So I'll just be careful, try not to adjust it or anything. I think I'll start with this. You know what? No, I'll start with the strut tower, I guess. Got it. Is this the wrong size wrench? This is what size it was on the other side, but it doesn't want to work. 11/16. Well, this doesn't even want to go on. 15. No. 17. No. 19. No. The 11/16 doesn't go on there all the way, but it might be my best chance. Because apparently nothing I have fits on there. What? Why was it like impacting if it wasn't even taking that off? Well, it was a little, I guess. Oh, that might be circle. Are you kidding me? I had the same complaint on my car. The original sway bar links on my car it was just a circle on the back. You couldn't actually get a wrench on there. I think it's the same on this. This is a new one. I have the locking pliers on it, and it's still somehow finding a way to spin. Just come out the way you're supposed to. So anyways, I asked my friend if they'd be willing to buy new sway bar links because these are pretty wore out anyways. And he said yes. So sometimes shortcuts are the way to go. Anyways, theoretically. Oh yeah. I just moved it up a little bit, but that's all I need because now I could actually get a straight shot to that. I truly don't understand it. I've been hammering that for like 5 minutes. Doesn't want to go in. The weird thing, that clip isn't really even sticking out that much. I don't know. I might take it out again, see if I can reshape it. So it's kind of funny because I keep seeing it in a lot of places, you know, people say like, oh, that ring shouldn't take that much force to get it past. And obviously that isn't the case, but I can make it the case. I know if I shared this in any of those forums I was talking about, everyone would be like, why are you doing that? You're not supposed to do that. Blah, 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 blah. You're supposed to do this. I've tried everything. This is the last thing. It's rather this or I don't even use it. So I'd like to use some of it at least. All right, just to make sure I'm not crazy, will this go in without the clip? There we go. Not smoothly, but it does go in. Hell, I could probably leave it like this. I mean, it's not going to come out super easy. But, like I said, not my car. Alright, so not only did I trim that clip down, but I really layered some grease on there. So if this doesn't work, I don't know what will. Actually, yeah, I do. I'm just going to grind more of that clip down. Nope. Alright, I got it shaved down quite a bit more. Hopefully that does the trick. Okay, I didn't record it, but I got it in, and I'm not like super excited because I noticed something and now I'm just very confused. So let me go over here. I'm gonna grab this and try to take it out, okay? I'm gonna try to remove it. That's stuck in there. Here's the weird thing though. It's not even in all the way. I don't have it in enough for that ring to actually clip in. I had to hammer the piss out of it to get it that far. So it's like a really tight friction fit. So here's my theory. Years ago, that little stub shaft in there got twisted, even just a tiny bit, even if it was just like that. I'm guessing it got twisted. That's why the old one was such a pain in the ass to get out. Not even a pain in the ass, it was impossible to get out without cutting it. But this side, we got it out and back in within a day. So yeah, that's my theory. The stub shaft in there is twisted a little. Because like I said, that's not even in all the way. And it is stuck in there good. The funny thing is, to replace the stub shaft, you need to take apart the transmission. But this thing's got 330,000 miles on it. By the time it needs new CV axles, I think the car is going to be scrap anyways. Rather that or the transmission's going to be bad. But yeah, I mean, I got it in, so that's pretty cool. I'm so sore, but I suppose I guess I could start putting stuff back together once I get that in all the way. Oh yeah. Yeah, she's in. I don't know what the issue is. I thought it was the stub shaft could be twisted, but then I remembered it went on just fine without that clip. So I guess that clip just makes so much tension in there. I don't know what the issue is. I'm just gonna say bad design. But I guess it's time to put it back together now. Well, I guess it's ironic I say that, but the first thing I got to do is take this off. You see how easy that is to take off if you can get a wrench on you? And that's even with running around trying to find a socket that would fit. This one isn't as worn out. This one's actually still decent. This one's a little more loose though. Let's leave this loose for now. All right, let's hope this nut actually wants to come off after all that hammering. Threads aren't even damaged. It just really is that difficult to get on and off. Now, I actually do know the torque specs for these, but it just occurred to me I don't have my torque wrench, so I'm gonna have to come back to this. One nice thing about these is that these bolts are actually splined on the bolt head end, and because of that, you don't need a wrench to hold the other side down. You can just tighten the one side, and that's all you got to worry about. I gotta be honest, these rotors actually kind of look like shit, but I was never told to change them, so I'll just leave them. Good enough. Of course, it immediately gets stuck. Well, I asked nicely. The impact can barely turn that. So next I want to put this brake caliper on. As you can tell, it's kind of squeezed in a bit, so I'm going to try to compress that back into place. Now, I'm not sure how much I'm supposed to compress this. I'm assuming just as much as I need to get this on the rotor. Just needs a little more. Doesn't seem to want to go any further than that. Oh, that's good. Uh-oh. It's leaking brake fluid out of that hose. I'm just not going to worry about that right now. The slides for the caliper bolts are kind of stuck. This one I got, but this one's... can't really get it through. There we go. It's still not good enough. Oh, there we go. Brakes are dragging a little, but that'll self-clearance itself. Well, this side's pretty much back together besides the sway bar links. Just gotta torque everything down and probably replace this line. I'm gonna get the other side put back together and I'm gonna test the brakes and see if this sprays everywhere. Damn it, I forgot I gotta get this out somehow. See if I can get the nut off. If not, I got this right here. All right, of course, it did the most insulting thing. It got all the way to the end and then it stopped moving. The nut on this side spins on beautifully. All right, well, I was trying to install the caliper. I don't have these bolts in because for some reason on this side, it takes a lot of force to get it lined up and I can't do it by myself, so I'm gonna wait until I get help with that. But I was trying to expand that and I broke a screwdriver and cut my hand open. Should be good. All right, I'm gonna go pump the brakes and hopefully I should see nothing coming out of there. Feels dry. My idea didn't work for this one. Who would have saw that coming? I got a torque wrench. Alright, let's see how this goes. Of course. I have to save this for a different day. I probably could get a pry bar in here, but like I'm gonna have to have help with this anyways because my friend's the one who ordered the sway bar link, so I'll just have him hold the brake pedal while I tighten. It's nice to have the door open. It's funny, at the beginning of this project I had the door closed because it was too cold outside, and the past couple days I've had it closed because it's so hot outside. It's been like 100 the past couple days. Well, that's about it for now, I suppose. Still got to torque these down, the brake caliper bolts, but those are both pretty low torques. This thing only goes down 50 foot-pounds. I didn't think I'd grab my other one for some reason. Well, I mean, I suppose I could try to get those bolts in. I'm sure there's a way I could get this, but I don't want to. Too much work. I did cut into the metal here a little bit when I was trying to cut the sway bar links out, so fix that up. There we go. Because, you know, you don't want the car getting rusty. Back at it again. So last time I did this, this happened. But I got this pry bar, so I'm going to try to use it. Funny enough, I bought this pry bar specifically for this this project, trying to get that axle out, and I bent the shit out of it in the process. And this didn't even work. And I think that people just said to try harder. Anyways, you know, we have a brake caliper compressor. It's probably good. It's close enough. I just remember I didn't even bolt that in. All right, I got it all back together. So I think what happened with this strut tower, whenever I took it apart, it decompressed and it was sitting lower than the knuckle wants to sit. So it was kind of a pain in the ass to get the holes to line up, but I got it with a couple screwdrivers. And then this caliper weirdly was kind of tricky to get on, but I just hammered it until the bolt holes lined up. They're dragging quite a bit, but whatever. All I need now is just to tighten the axle nuts up and put the sway bar links on, which I don't have yet. So I'm just going to tighten these up and see if I can get the car moved outside, and then I'll come back another day and do those. This one goes on fine, but this side, you know, it doesn't want to go on past this point. These rotors are definitely going to have to get taken off pretty soon. I'm hoping that this comes off just fine. It's not cross-threaded or anything, so I don't know why it really doesn't want to go on. This whole side of the car is just cursed. Thing is, to tighten these axle nuts down, you're supposed to have another person in the car holding the brakes down while you tighten them, but I don't know if I could really do that, so I might just have to put the wheels on. Maybe get one side of the car touching the ground so I could tighten the other side and then swap them. I'll figure something out. Man, it's so weird seeing that wheel on the car. So because I'm a safe person, I currently do not have a jack stand under this car because I was using it for something else. So theoretically, I should be able to just put this jack down and it should touch the ground and that should hold it down. Something like that. Oh yeah, it's going on just fine actually. I think it was just that little last bit on the end of the nut. I think that's what was stopping it. That's what I was worried about, because like I said, I know these rotors are going to have to come off if anyone actually wants to drive this car. at least get them resurfaced or something. And this thing is just gonna cross thread the whole way through. That's not gonna be fun to take off or put back on. That's on. That was a weird feeling to have. It's actually like I'm actually making progress. I'm gonna take this side of the car back off the ground. What am I doing? I don't need to take the wheel off to torque that back down. Well, that's plastic. Now I gotta figure out where all the lug nuts went. Found one. Yeah, lug nut 2. Oh! Found the third one. It's not like I'm taking it on the road. I'm just gonna move it out of the garage. Then when the car's moved out of the garage, I could look for the other lug nuts. There we go. All right, so when I set this car down, this project will be done. I mean, not completely, obviously. We've still got to do the sway bar links, but in terms of the CV axle job, this will be done. Dude, this is the first time the car's been on the ground in like half a year. More than that at this point. That's so weird. It's sitting so low now. The bumper's at my knees. I'm not used to that. It feels weird. The next step is to drive it, I think. Might as well check the fluids before I start it up. It has oil. Trans fluid. Might have too much. It's better than none. And that's good enough. That's all I care about. I don't know if any of you noticed in the footage, but the whole time the hood's been open for this project, I've had locking pliers on the struts. That's because without them, the hood just doesn't stay up. Well, I suppose it's time to see if she moves. That airbag's doing stuff. This hasn't ran in a good while. Oh, wow. I have a no brake pedal. All right, reverse. It is driving. All right, it has brakes. They just suck. Definitely feel those rotors scraping. I don't want to drive too aggressive because, you know, there's no sway bar attached currently. Wow. Those brakes are bad. It's outside. Man, this is a weird sight. And here we are. The car's all done. Well, kinda. It has no sway bar links. We still have yet to put those in, but I'm not too worried. I can't imagine that's gonna go that bad. Even though this entire project has been cursed. They just bolt in. It should be pretty simple. Whenever that's done, this thing can get off my property. Well, hey, if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. And I'm sorry to hear that you have this much free time. I guess, see you guys next time.